Good morning. This is MUSAU MattmeachamJR broadcasting from Kigali, Rwanda, East Central Africa. This has been a wonderful experience for me. I just left a storm in Boston. Now I'm sitting beside a fan in Africa. That's just how the world is. While one part of the globe is freezing, the other part is relaxing. So here I am, Musa, Matt Meacham Jr., broadcasting in East Central Africa, where the climate is beautiful, the women are beautiful, and everything is cool. I had a wonderful experience in America. I went to America because America is my home. I went to America because God chose me to go to America. And I said when I was in America that I was an angel of God. So I think I've completed my mission. My mission was to remind the people of my homeland that you are in trouble. You are in big trouble. There are guys out there who want to hurt you, and they have every reason to do it. But I have already done my mission. Now I am in Africa, the cradle of civilization, where all mankind began. Now I am in Africa, the home of my ancient ancestors who were taken from this continent to America and built America. So I have completed my mission. Now may I rest in peace. There are many things I want to talk about, but now I have to just get myself together. There's a difference between Africa and America. There's a great big difference. There's a climatic difference. I'm sitting by a fan. A fan is keeping me cool right now. And that's only a few hours ago. I was in Boston, Massachusetts, and it was getting ready to be a storm. And a storm is coming. A big storm is coming. But all praises due to God. I made it back to my home of my ancient ancestors. I made it back in time. So we're going to be taking another dimension in my broadcast now. I still have two concerns. One, my YouTube station, and two, my concept of a corporation. But what happened after studying and after being in my homeland and after seeing the type of conditions that exist and seeing how the minds of men work, I had to change one of my outlooks. I know previously I had discussed a joining of American and African artists to make the world a better place. But while in America and while studying, I did not realize until later how serious the problem is in America. I did not realize until the latter part of my experience in my homeland. I did not realize that America has sold out to China. China owns America. Now, many things are getting ready to happen. We have a war in Ukraine. I'm really, I looked on the map as I was on the plane coming to Africa, and I was seeing where the planes were. I never saw the country Ukraine. So I think Ukraine is a Russian thing. It's not an international thing. It's a thing that the Russians have to decide. And all I know is that when Russia made its first assault on Ukraine, the Ukrainians would not allow the African students to get on the buses to get out of harm's way. Instead, they left our African brothers on the street while the bombs were coming. And they said they could not get on the trains, they could not get on the buses, they could not go where there was safety. That's what happened to our African brothers in Ukraine. And yet, America claims that Ukraine is America's ally. No, Ukraine is not America's ally. Ukraine will be the reason why Russia will defeat America because the bomb is coming. Study history. Study history. Where in history that a man had power or a country had power or a government had power and it did not use that power? The bomb is coming, America. Two. Why two? You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. What comes around goes around. So I came to America, or I went to America to warn my brothers in America. I said, look, brothers, the enemy is getting ready to execute a nuclear attack on our homeland. I'm an American. Do you know that in every library in Boston that I would go to, there were other Americans who sent Americans into the libraries to harass me? Do you know that when I traveled from Boston to Providence, there was members of the opposition who traveled behind me just to harass me? Why? Lot went into Sodom and Gomorrah to save the city. And as I remember the scripture, he said to God, God, is there 5 upright men in this city? Would you not destroy it? God said, if you find 5 upright men in Sodom and Gomorrah, then Sodom and Gomorrah would not be destroyed. God knew that these people, his countrymen were so corrupt. He knew that they were so corrupt that he knew that he may not could even find 5 upright men in Sodom and Gomorrah. So he went and bowed to God. God, if there is one, will you not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? And God said, if you find one, I will not destroy the country of the Sodomites. He could not find one. There was not one man that was not one in Sodom and Gomorrah, not one. So God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. You read the scripture. And some of you probably know the scripture better than I do. I did the job that I was commissioned for, and I've completed my job. I remember when I first went to Boston, just coming from Africa, I went to the Nation of Islam. I said, brothers, the U.S. is getting ready to be nuked. The Nation of Islam. And those brothers, they turned their back on me. They said to the other ones, do not, do not talk to him. Okay. That was the Nation of Islam in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm, I have written over and published over 150 books, close to 200 books. And some of my books are read by scholars. I enrolled in an online PhD program in USA. And I wrote in my papers that I submitted from this online school. They said the professor of one of the courses said that your work is not of graduate caliber. But I've written over 150 books. Scholars use my books all over the world, especially in theater arts. But I enrolled in an online course in the USA. And I'm told that I am not worthy of being a graduate scholar. MUSAU Muhammad was not worthy of being a graduate scholar. Today is my birthday. Today is my birthday. I am 73 years old. And I have lived all over America. And I have lived in many places in Africa. And Africa is where I make my money. And now I am broadcasting from the cleanest city in the world. The cleanest city in the world. And you know where that city is? That city is in East Central Africa. And the name of that city is Kigali, Rwanda. And I may be pronouncing it wrong, being that I am an American and we never say things right when we say things about Africa. So there are many things I'll be talking about now. Many things. I have the concept of an international consulting firm, which I will pursue. But I will pursue it from a different angle. At first, it was a thing between America and Africa. Now, after studying and seeing the predicament that America is in, I decided that I would pursue another concept. That concept would include America, Africa, and China. Because the world is in trouble. I know as I make this broadcast, it must be freezing in Boston and New England. I just left there. There's a fan next to me. And I look out the window. I'm in Kigali, Rwanda. The weather is mild. I'm in the place where I should be. So I will begin my broadcast in Africa, just as I was broadcasting between the cities of Providence, Rhode Island, and Boston, Massachusetts. and being harassed by sodomites, being harassed. Do you know they would not let me study in the Boston Public Library downtown on Boylston Street? Do you know that I was kicked out of the library? I was kicked out of the library. Kicked out of a library, and all you're doing is studying at a computer. American, you are in trouble. I write scholarly books. Scholars read my books. They read my articles. I enrolled in an online school in the USA, and I am told that my writing is not worthy of a graduate student. I'm retired. Everything I do now is just for hobbies. Everything I do now is just for time. I am retired. What am I trying to say? This is what I'm trying to say. I'm saying there's a malignant tumor that exists in the minds of the American, and it's all based on race. It's all based on race. And until you decide to deal with this tumor, your situation is going to get worse and worse and worse. All you guys who own central United States, states like Idaho, states like I can't think about those middle states, Iowa, all those middle states in America. You better give up that land. What you had better do is start building underground cities, because the bombs are coming. The bombs are coming, America. And I would say to you, you should get prepared. So that's all I have to say today. But I will be concerned with two things, and I will discuss them every time I give my broadcast, one way or the other. I will discuss the formula E equal MC squared, a formula introduced by the scientist Albert Einstein. And that same formula led to the atomic bomb. That same formula led to a nuclear bomb. That same formula led to men contemplating destroying millions of souls of mass destruction. So I am working on a formula. My formula would be a formula to save humanity, not to destroy humanity. Einstein's theory was E equal MC squared. My formula goes in the opposite direction. What my aim is to keep humanity alive. This was a very informal discussion. None of my discussions are rehearsed. I just started talking. But now I'm in another part of the world, and I'm in a place where people think differently. And I don't think that I'll be harassed by the sodomites. So I say to my listening audience, beware. Beware. For MUSAU MattmeachamJR will be broadcasting in East Africa. And I will be getting back in touch with you. And this is MUSAU. Check it out.